Aviation operations have an inherent risk. The Aviation Operations Checklist is designed to reduce these risks by standardizing what we already do. The checklist is a tool allowing users not to rely on memory, but a standard format to be completed for every mission, incorporating all individuals involved. Now an example on how not to use the checklist.
Did you go through the pre-op planning checklist?
Yeah, I think so. I think we got it all done this morning.
Okay.
Get loaded up.
Let's load up. It's cold out here.
The pre-operations section of the Aviation Operations Checklist is designed for managers to verify all steps of the planning process have been completed and not overlooked. Take the time to allow everyone involved with the mission to review these documents in advance, ideally days or even weeks before the actual mission. Now an example on how to use the checklist.
All right, thanks for coming in today. I brought you guys in to discuss the wildlife recon operation we have going on next week. Let's just start off by going through the aviation operation checklist. The aviation management plan.
We have an approved, signed, and current aviation plan.
I have a approved, signed, and current project aviation safety plan. What about an operational risk assessment?
It's included in the project aviation safety plan.
Flight hazard map.
We got a new one this morning from dispatch.
All right. I have an updated mishap response plan right here. Has management determined that this is an acceptable risk?
We've completed the GAR risk assessment and we have proper mitigation measures in place. There is an acceptable risk tolerance for the mission.
And the pilot and crew members in compliance with training requirements?
Yes, everybody's in compliance and current.
All right, and the aviation life support equipment?
We've got the required first aid equipment and personal protective gear. In fact, we even have some backup.
Great.
The next section of the Aviation Operation Checklist is the Operation Briefing and Pre-Flight Plan. This section is designed to give everyone involved with the mission the same awareness of what the potential issues are. Now an example on how not to use the checklist.
Okay, Jinx, let's do a quick pre-flight. Did you do all the pre-flight responsibilities?
Yeah, I'm done with that stuff.
How about flight following?
Yep. Standard mission, let's get going now. I gotta be back for 4:30, so where are you going?
Okay, we'll be quick. Load calcs, did you do a load calc?
I gotta be back for 4:30. We gotta get going now, otherwise we're not gonna be able to accomplish this mission.
Everyone should introduce themselves by name, qualification, and role in order to work effectively. By speaking out in the beginning, personnel now feel empowered and more likely to voice their concerns or questions if something is not understood, missed, or just not right. This early communication creates an environment that allows everyone involved to help out one another when critical steps have been overlooked. The operation briefing and pre-flight plan checks are critical for safe, uneventful flights. Take note to the last box in this section. Confirm all users aware that anyone may terminate a flight if an unsafe condition is perceived to exist. Referencing the last example of the manager getting strong-armed into a flight, cutting corners should always be a red flag. Anyone involved with the mission should know if there is any question not checked, they have the power to terminate that flight. Now an example on how to use the checklist.
Good morning, I'm JT, I'll be your pilot.
JT Ray Raditz, I'll be
Ray.
the manager for the mission.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Biologist.
Joe, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So first, I'd like to just confirm our mission objectives, strategies, and tactics. Sage grouse flight today. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're all pretty clear on that. We'll be low level, flying transect. So,
Okay.
if anybody has any questions or concerns, definitely bring those up at any time. Did you have a chance to check the weather this morning?
Yeah, it's VFR all day. I don't foresee winds being an issue or any thunderstorms, anything like that. So we should be good to go on that.
I've already looked at the aircraft card and your card. We're approved for the mission. Everything's current and signed. Good to go there. Flight time and duty day. Are you going to run into any issues today on that?
Yeah, we'll look at pumpkins at 8:20, so we'll be on the ground by 9:30, let's say at the latest.
And you have
7:30.
this week. We should be good.
0, today's my Monday, so we're good to go on that.
Mission hazards and inherent hazards. I sent you the PASP last week.
Yep, I sent that out, got the appropriate signatures,
It's been reviewed, updated, and I brought copies with us.
Performance planning, I've looked at the load calc, it looks good. I've got that signed. We're well within our limits today.
We agree that we're within the performance capabilities of the aircraft. Shouldn't be any problem at all. I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable on how the aircraft works for shut-off, starting in it, what we're going to do while we're flying. We already did pre-flight this morning with maintenance. I'm pretty sure you saw me doing that. So you're comfortable with the briefing and how the seat belts work, fire extinguisher location, ELT, that stuff. You're good with that? Okay. Flight follow, today we're going to use AFF as our primary flight following. Talking with dispatch, we'll use Boise dispatch. If that goes down, our AFF goes down, we'll go back to our 15-minute check-ins.
Did you get a chance to load those frequencies?
You gave me freaks earlier. I put all of them in the radio, but we'll just double check and make sure before we go that they're all right. And then I don't really have any expectations other than if you see something, a hazard, or we're looking at birds. If you see a bird that is potentially a hazard to the aircraft, say something. I expect us all to work together out there. We're not just sitting there having a fun ride or whatever. We're working together as a team to enhance all of our safety. Okay. You have a PASP. You brought that with you, and you signed it as well. And we looked at the risk assessment on it.
And it's also got all the frequencies in there, go checklist, which we've gone through.
Okay.
So we're good there, and everybody signed that.
Yep, I'm comfortable with the risks. They're very minimal.
Flight hazard map, again, we've got the power lines.
We just talked about the one power line that goes through those LECs and how we were going to approach those.
As we near them, we'll just remind ourselves that they're there, and we'll locate them before we cross over them.
Risk assessment, that was in the PASP. Any questions or issues there? Good to go?
And dispatch got the mishap thing, just in case anything happens. They're briefed in on what to do, and they have their checklist to follow for that.
Any hazmat? I've got my pack. I don't have any fusees this time of year or anything like that. Joe, do you have any?
Okay.
No hazmat on board then. Okay.
We were talking about it earlier about the briefing. We've already been through a briefing for aircraft safety and how to get out if we have to and that sort of thing. I don't anticipate landing, but in the event that we have to do a landing, we'll talk about how we're going to depart before we do that. Okay. And then everybody's manifested. Let's see.
We got
you
the
got
manifest
that. Okay. Last thing I'd just like to talk about those power lines on this hazard map that we were noticing that those are where we're going to be looking for the grouse. So when we near them, let's just find them, determine where we think they are, and identify the wires, which direction they're running and such before we cross them. And I'll just reiterate that we're all a team, and anybody can terminate the flight if we see something or something we don't like or anything like that. Okay?
All right.
Questions on anything?
I think I'm good.
Good? All right.
During operations section of the aviation operation checklist includes the last critical steps for a safe flight. This is now the time all personnel must remain vigilant and not become complacent with the flight following, PPE, and awareness of flight hazards. During operations is when all personnel should come together as a team, and if you see anything out of the norm, say something. A safe flight is a result of careful planning, solving issues well in advance of leaving the ground and becoming an unexpected crisis. Remember, everyone plays a part in aviation safety.